Hello and welcome back to the set of The Gloves Are Off. We are back in a dump and change. And remember, if either of you do not like one of these topics, you can dump it and change on to the next one. I want to talk about the quarterbacks on the CFL. What is the bigger story at this point? Is it Darian Durant's lack of ball security? Is it Cleo Lemon and his sort of inconsistency still? He's got 20 CFL starts. He's still going to play next week. We know that for sure. He's starting in week 4. Or is it Ricky Ray, who's already got 1,000 yards passing? Who takes the cake for you?
I'm excited for Ray.
Are you?
That's a champion.
You've got a soft spot for him, eh?
Well, you know what it is? It's because
Why?
If he didn't do what he's already accomplished to this point, taking a young team and just taking the controls and said, everyone follow me. And if he had not done that, it was back to the way he played last year, I would have been like, you know, whatever. But he has taken it on his shoulders. He has professionalism. He's gone out with confidence. The team surrounds him and is built with him this year. And he's going to carry him as far as they can go. But they don't have the team to do it. But they'll go a ways. What's
the biggest story in the pocket for you so far this season?
Oh, it's got to be Ricky Ray.
Really?
I read an article in the Edmonton Sun here a while ago that Terry Jones wrote. And he said, my God, Ricky Ray has learned a lot in a year. Because Edmonton was ready to dump him last year.
Oh, yeah.
And it's amazing how good the guy can be when he's got an offensive line in front of him that'll give him the time to do what he's got to do. And that's the secret, I think, what's happened with Ricky this year. He's got an offensive line finally.
So that's what it's not so much Ray, you're giving the offensive line a little bit more credit.
Ricky's always had the talent.
Yeah.
Don't you? But okay. I kind of see he's a lot more mobile. He seems to be moving a lot better. He seems to be reading things a little faster.
He ran the ball a ton against Hamilton.
He just seems to show we talk about swagger.
Yeah.
We're watching when he comes off the field and that he knows that it's his game.
To me, he's always looked so composed. Yeah. He never looks like he's in a panic. Always. All right, I want to move on now. I want to talk about helmets really quickly. There were a couple times in the past couple weeks in the CFL, actually a memo went out to equipment managers to make sure that helmets were inflated correctly and fit, because there were a couple times, who was it? It was Henry Burris, Tristan Jackson, both in major danger. Now, there is a rule in the NCAA and the NFL that a whistle goes as soon as the helmet comes off. Not the case in the CFL. Do you think that needs to change?
Oh, I would think so. Mind you, with some of these guys, if they got hit in the head, who would notice? Well, you know, I mean, geez. But yeah, I don't know why.
But doesn't it surprise you that
my more curious question is how long did you actually research this question before you brought it on TV for us to answer that dumb question?
Dave Naylor, are you kidding me? This has been on TSN. Dave Naylor even wrote about this.
This is TSN, huh?
Yes.
All right. Well, this is the.
I'm serious.
Oh, you are. I can tell.
Well, wouldn't you?
Well, think about it here. Let's I mean, how bad can the Players Association be, whatever it may be, to sit there and go, all right, one of the hardest hit with helmets, and you're not going to inflate your helmet?
But that's my point. Is it not ridiculous that there's no rule?
You know what? If they're dumb enough not to inflate their helmet, the consequences be damned. I mean, I don't want to see anyone paralyzed or injured, obviously. Yeah. But you know what? If you get your bell rung or concussion because you were stupid enough not to do it, I don't think that falls. I'll bet you any money some players just don't like it.
Yep.
Oh, I'm sure. It's just a matter of
squeezes their little brain.
Yeah, exactly.
At what point do players take personal responsibility here? And that's what we're talking about.
And I think that's what you just said. That's the responsibility of a player to make sure.
All right, we'll talk a little hockey here for a minute. Winnipeg Jets, 7 signings on Monday. One of them, Blake Wheeler. Is that I called it, wheel of a deal. To me, I think it's a great deal. 2 years, $5.1 million. Is he going to be? My concern is who is their franchise player going to be? Who's going to step up and shine for them? Do they need one, or is the excitement just from the Jets being back enough to carry them through? I thought the Blake Wheeler.
You know what? It's going to be. I'll be very amazed if that team does well this year. Really.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. Oh, Winnipeg will support the hell out of it.
That won't be a question.
Don't worry about the fans of Winnipeg.
But the product is going to take.
The product is coming from. It's basically Atlanta. What's Atlanta's players?
Yeah.
And you know what? I got to be honest with you. Other than Wheeler, I couldn't tell you anyone. A couple other kids.
Yeah.
They just don't have a team that I would like watching.
Really?
Who's Blake Wheeler?
Oh, jeez. Oh, that's too bad.
I'm sorry. Atlanta. When is the NHL going to learn that they can't put a franchise in Atlanta?
Yeah.
This is the second time.
Second time.
Yeah, and you got a point. I mean, I lived in Columbus, Georgia, which is not too far from Atlanta. It's just not a hockey town.
No, it's like pulling teeth.
It's a baseball, basketball town, and college.
And football.
football.
But the Jets won't have a problem getting bums in the seats. That's not a question.
No.
All right, let's move on then. I want to talk about the NFL because it sounds like by Thursday and Friday, this collective bargaining agreement could the terms of this agreement anyways, will hopefully be settled and they will be explained to management and players. Are you just relieved to hear that there might actually be a season? Are you an NFL fan? Do you even care?
Oh, I love the NFL.
Yeah.
But it's hard for me to get excited or upset about a bunch of millionaires fighting over their slice of the pie.
I think you're saying what everybody else
Get
at
a
home is
life,
saying.
guys.
Yeah.
Come on.
I kind of agree with you, but there's another side to it because
Which is?
Well, the side of it is how much is the NFL, the ownership, going to make, and if they are not going to be willing to bring up the younger players, the first-year, second-year players, and bring them up and give them a piece of the pie. I think this is one of the arguments of your best players are always going to make all the money, but it's bringing up the average of the lower players. The same thing, Carly, in the National Hockey League, is that's what arguments become up. But the NHL doesn't make the money. The NFL, the TV rights for the NFL is disgusting. So how much is it the players' fault? And they want this resolved quick because I don't know if you watched that thing in Tahoe, the golf. They had a couple of the quarterbacks on there.
Yeah.
The answer was said right there. This will be done by Thursday. Everyone has got to get the NFL back out on the field, and they will be.
And they will be. All right. NBA lockout. You're just why are you laughing? What's so funny?
Because that's a bunch of guys
That's
right
the
there.
same argument that I just said.
Really?
It's a bunch of millionaires. Those guys.
But this is basketball. This is your thing. Why are you not sticking up for these guys?
I'll tell you something very simply.
Please do.
I am a huge NCAA college basketball fan.
Okay.
The NBA, I'm cool on it. For the simple reason, the guys in the NCAA play their butts off.
Yes, they do.
The NBA, they take nights off.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry.
But why do the NCAA players play the tail? I'm agreeing with you.
They
want to get to the NBA.
They want the big bucks.
Yeah. So it's kind of the mind. But I agree with you. NCAA, that's fun basketball to watch.
Yeah.
But the difference is, Carly, the money value of the TV rights between the NBA and NFL are not even close.
No.
And those guys in the NBA, there are some big bucks being paid out in that level.
No kidding. All right. Finally, just because I know it's your favorite subject, I want to do Women's World Cup right before we take a break.
Oh, really?
Japan winning. I'm sorry. I
This is a Canadian-U.S. thing. This is just a total Canadian-U.S. thing. Because I got this feeling you can't stand it over. Even though you went to school there, you can't wait for those American Americans to just Erica, that was good. To get beat. You know what? They should have won. It's the first time I've watched a game.
Yeah.
And I thought that they played their tails off. And I don't look at it U.S. I look at that team.
You blow a lead twice. I'm sorry.
You blow it in the overtime like the way they did. I mean, but you know the game better than I do. I mean, that tying goal. I mean, holy cow! Are you kidding me? Off the back of the foot.
No, I didn't.
No, why not? Why not?
I was probably on the golf course.
Huh. Now, if it had been the men's World Cup final, would you have watched?
Probably not. I would still be on the golf course.
But I will say one thing, Carly, for you. What a great win for Japan. If anyone was going to win, the goalie. What's her name for the Americans?
How do you not know her name? That's all they've been talking about.
Yeah, I know.
Hope Salo.
Yeah, Salo. That's right. Well, she did say it the best way. If any team was to win it, I'm glad it was them because of what it's done for their country.
Well, and she's covering her butt because she's been their lead story, and now they blew it in penalty kicks.
But what it did for that country and all the disasters they've had.
All right.
The unique thing about this.
You get the last word.
The American women's soccer team losing to Japan would be very equivalent to the Canadian men's national hockey team losing to Italy.
Very good.
Argument could be made. All right, well, stay tuned. We're going to get into offside, onside, a little more golf when we return after the break.